to step down after 19 years, 19 seasons as the Steelers coach. 19 seasons, never a losing season. But he had a devastating loss emotionally. It had to be. The Steelers were drummed by the Houston Texans 30 to 6, unbelievably, uh, in the wild card game last night, Monday night. Everyone expected Tomlin to be back. The main question was, well, okay, is Aaron Rodgers going to return? But Aaron Rodgers came to Pittsburgh because he wanted to play for Mike Tomlin. Aaron Rodgers came to Pittsburgh because he wanted to play for Mike Tomlin. So let's put this together. As breaking news just put out here, I'm just ahead of it. Mike Tomlin is leaving after 19 years with the organization. Um, so where does that leave the Steelers? Do they have a plan? How did this happen? Um, and not only that, how did it happen? And is Tomlin going to retire? And the news here, the Steelers just put out an official statement just now, and it reads like this: During our meeting today, Coach Tomlin informed me. This is Art Rooney II, who is the son of Art Rooney, Steelers owner. It says, during our meeting today, Coach Tomlin informed me that he has decided to step down as our head coach. Obviously, I'm extremely grateful to Mike for all the hard work, dedication, and successes we have shared now the last 19 years. It is hard for me to put into words the level of respect and appreciation I have for Coach Tomlin. He guided the franchise to our 6th Super Bowl championship. Here's what I'm reading right here. He guided our franchise to our 6th Super Bowl championship and made the playoffs 13 times during his tenure, including winning the AFC North 8 times in his career. His track record of never having a losing season in 19 years will likely never be duplicated. My family and I, and everyone connected to Steelers management, are forever grateful for the passion and dedication Mike Tomlin has devoted to Steelers football. Signed, Art Rooney II, Steelers president. So, I don't know. It reads to me like they're going to. The Steelers have never fired anybody. The Steelers have never fired a coach in their entire history. So, I don't think they were going to start with Mike. But it's clear that the fans, and I hate to say this because it is true, the fans are getting restless for a Super Bowl championship, restless to win in the playoffs, restless for a win just like they had in the last um, two last decades of Steeler Nation, the Steelers. But the reality is, to get to the playoffs 13 times out of your 19 seasons is a record that will not be duplicated, at least in my lifetime. If I see it, I'll let you know about it. But I don't see it coming. And it just pains. I just wonder if Mike just got tired of the noise. Let's go with the idea that he really did make the decision, to step down, right? I mean, I don't think that if he did, I think it was because he probably just simply got tired of people telling him to quit, tired of not being appreciated, and then having to stare at not just a loss, but a major league drubbing. 30 to 6 is nothing to sneeze at. Um, but he was there. And the Steelers have always been in the conversation. And the risks the Steelers take, when I say the conversation, I mean they're always talked about as the team that may win it all or go to the playoffs or win the division. And they have done that, if you think about it, for the last generation. Because a generation is roughly, 30 years. 19 years, you could say in football parlance, is a generation. That was Tomlin. Mike Tomlin also set the tone for other great coaches to enter. And be major contributors to the game. And let's not forget that it was Tony Dungy that brought Mike Tomlin into the NFL. So Mike is the caretaker of a great legacy of Steelers coaches, a great history that doesn't know color, a great history that only knows winning, a great history that only knows Super Bowls. But I think that's that last part that was the problem. But my thought is this: he got you to the playoffs. Okay. Um, One thing's for sure: 5 years he'll be in the NFL Hall of Fame, no question about it. Uh, but does this mean that Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, or maybe Mike decided to retire because perhaps Aaron Rodgers told him he wasn't coming back? Rodgers had said 1 year, and maybe Mike didn't want to go through the pain after 19 years of trying to figure out who his new franchise quarterback is going to be in another year later, as opposed to having one. Uh, he wasn't well served by his offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, who is a very nice and effective leader as a coach, but as an offensive coordinator, he hasn't solved the riddle of how to develop the right plays for the super fast defenses of today. Uh, it's a sad day. It is a very sad day in American culture when a winner is faced with his future and decides to step down. It's a sad day when you leave that game as your last mark, as opposed to saying, you know what, I want to come back. But then there is something else that makes me wonder. I'm wondering if behind the scenes Steve Bisciotti said to Mike Tomlin, you know what, if you decide you want to come over to the Ravens, come on over and be a winner for us, and we'll pay you a ton of money. I don't know that actually happened. But the trouble is, he stepped down in a way that's shocking. So now, you're left with speculating as to exactly what the situation was. But the Steelers did put out that statement. The reaction to it has been Mike Tomlin just came in to save the day for us. Let's go. So there are people celebrating that he decided to quit. Someone else said that they considered Mike Tomlin as a trade possibility to the Bears or something like that. And so, oh, by the way, Art Meverall pointed out officially, he says, this is important. Mike Tomlin leaving the organization means the Steelers will retain his rights. In other words, he wasn't fired. Yeah, right. So the Steelers retain his right. He's not going anywhere. So the idea of him going to Steve Bisciotti in Baltimore or any place is off. He is officially a Steeler and always been that. He's just taking a leave of absence. He's tired, folks. He's tired. He's taking a leave of absence. Mike Tomlin is, hey, Google, how old is Mike Tomlin?
53 years old.
Yeah, he's 53. So he's looking at this and saying, all right, do I see me doing this for another 19 years, which would take him into being 73 years old? And he's probably saying no. But something else happened. And I think mainly, I think it just has to do with the hurt of the way it happened. I don't know. But something else happened. It can't be just this. But he is taking a leave. They didn't fire him. Although they could very well have decided to say, hey, you know what? Why don't you take a leave and we'll pay you $30 million. There's that. But he's not out of the building, folks. He's just not going to coach until he, I guess, decides to return or something. So here's the current situation with the AFC North. John Harbaugh, Ravens coach, fired. Kevin Stefanski, Browns coach, fired. Mike Tomlin, Steelers coach step down. This person at Looking Cash. This is wrong. Mike Tomlin was not fired. Okay? This is wrong. Mike Tomlin was not fired. All right? That's wrong. Lock and Cash, that's wrong. Okay? Mike Tomlin was not fired. So we are left with one team who has retained their coach, and that's Zach Taylor, who a number of people could say, hey, he's a better candidate or was a better candidate to be fired than Mike Tomlin by far, right? But Mike Tomlin wasn't fired. Mike Tomlin made a decision to leave, all right? So to just not coach. But, all right, Adam Schefter pointed out just 17 minutes ago, we beat him. After a historic 19-season run in Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin just informed his team that he is stepping down as a Steelers head coach, sources tell Jeremy Fowler of ESPN and me. The Steelers now will be looking for only their fourth head coach since 1969. Wow. I don't know whether to cry or what, but I think they say cry because every time I went to the NFL annual meeting, I had an opportunity to go over to Steelers table and interview Mike, which was 4 deep with the press. It was hard to get in. And I keep thinking, I'll get a chance next time. Folks, these chances are fleeting. When you have the opportunity in any aspect of life to do something, do it. I have to figure out another way to interview the man. Because we've been in the same circles, same room, same breakfast table, whole 9 yards. He's a great man. So yesterday, Tomlin said, words are cheap. It's about what you do or don't do. People talk too much in our business. You either do or you don't. All right, folks. And with that, there's the news. 62 on YouTube and bookmark. NFL News by Zenny62.com.